Welcome JBA fans, I'm your host keldeo, and today I'm bringing you my semifinals playoffs match versus Dougie, coach of the New York Pokemon Rangers. So I'm bringing some nice heat, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty nice. I have the Scarf Chandelure, which has Clear Smog Infiltrator, because prepping this game I was really scared of a Sub-Calm Mind Keldeo, which can set up on my Alomomola. So I thought that might be a likely bring, so I definitely wanted to have checks to that thing. Clear Smog is also just nice for Cofagrigus. If that thing wants to Calm Mind and gets a little out of hand, I can always reset its stats. And then I just have Dual Stab and I believe Energy Ball. Yes. Pretty nice set versus his team. His only real switch-in is AV Goodra, I think Spadef, Togekiss, and he had a Pyroar on his team, which he brought last time as a check to Chandelure, but he didn't bring it this time, so Chandelure looking pretty nice. He doesn't have a Ghost Resist once weavile goes down, and weavile is not really the best Chandelure switch in the world, if I'm being honest. So yeah, that's a pretty nice late game win con, I guess, if I weaken everything. But yeah, next up I'm going to have my Azumarill, which is going to be max HP. I believe it was 84 special defense EVs and the rest in attack with an adamant nature. This allows me to switch into Keldeo pretty easily. If I get Scald Burned, well, that's completely fine because I am packing the Refresh on this set. As it is designed to switch into Keldeo, a Scald Burn would not be the greatest thing, so I did definitely want to get rid of that status. So I do have the dual stabs with the Aqua Jet as well. Waterfall and Aqua Jet both being good versus his team. I wanted both. But yeah, moving on to my next Pokemon, we have the Alomomola. It's basically there to switch into Weavile, and that's pretty much it in this specific mashup of 6v6. So once Weavile goes down, it's pretty expendable. I can just use it to get off a Toxic on something and just let it die. Because if anything, it's a liability, allowing Sub-Calm Mind Keldeo to switch or to set up, allowing a potential setup Mew, maybe Bulk Up or Calm Mind, which are both pretty scary, allowing Cofagrigus, Rest Talk to set up. It's just kind of a liability if anything, although Wish Passing is nice to Azumarill and maybe Excadrill. It's not necessary. Moving on to Excadrill, I am actually bringing the Life Orb set. First time I'm bringing Life Orb this entire season, I believe, and that's because it has really nice breaking power versus team. It's basically my Togekiss counter of sorts. It does a lot of damage with the Iron Head. It hits pretty much everything else really hard with Earthquake, so as long as I can just hit the switch-ins hard, I'll be whittling his team down in range of my faster threats such as Scarf Chandelure. Aqua Jet from Azumarill, I guess, counts under faster things, and my Mega Pidgeot, which is also a pretty nice thing versus him because he doesn't have a flying resist, although Goodra is kind of a flying resist on its own because of Assault Vest and that massive special defense, but being Assault Vest doesn't have any recovery, and it's definitely going to be Assault Vest in this matchup, I can already tell you that. But yeah, I guess I already started talking about it. Mega Pidgeot is going to be Hurricane, U-turn, what was the other moves? I think I had a Roost and something else, I don't remember the last move. I don't think it's going to come into play in this game. But yeah, just standard Mega Pidgeots. I believe I'm speed creeping Weavile. No, I can't speed creep Weavile, I'm slower than that, what am I thinking? I'm speed creeping Keldeo, I think. Yeah. But anyways, moving on to the last Pokemon, which is going to be Dugtrio. This is going to be Focus Sash, designed to basically trade with one of his offensive threats, being Weavile, Keldeo, or a Goodra. If I want to weaken that thing to it KO with an Earthquake and all that, then my special attackers can kind of just shred through his team. So the combination of Dougie plus my offensive threats is really good in this matchup, so I definitely wanted to bring that. So looking at the lead matchup, I really want to lead with Dugtrio, as I can potentially trade with anything except for the Togekiss and the Cofagrigus and I guess the Mew, but I have 3 potential lead choices that he makes that are favorable for Dougie, so I'm just going to lead with that, as he does lead off with a Weavile, and this is great because I can go straight for the reversal. Unfortunately he does miss, but like that doesn't really matter because it would have brought me to my sash and the reversal would have killed. And like here I'm going to go for the earthquake in case he double misses, as then I would retain my sash and I kill him with the earthquake at this range. But he is going to knock me down to my sash with the icicle crash, and does he flinch me? And I do actually like break through and kill him with the earthquake, so that's pretty good. Got a massive offensive threat out of the way turn 2. That's really good. Now Togekiss comes in. I had 2 plays here. I'm actually carrying Toxic on this Dugtrio, but I'm also carrying Stealth Rocks. And while Toxic would be really nice on this Togekiss, allowing my Chandelure to spam Shadow Ball even more, and it would be pretty nice. I felt like Stealth Rocks was a much better play, as chip damage on the Togekiss and the Goodra and the Mew, and I guess Cofagrigus to an extent, although not quite as much. Chip damage on all those is really, really nice, especially since Goodra has really pressured this game. If I can add that chip every time it switches in, that would be amazing. And I definitely thought he could have Heal Bell on this Togekiss because it synergizes well with a potential Rest Talk Cofagrigus, and yeah. So I'm just going to go for the rocks here, as he knocks me out with an Air Slash, and that's fine. Dugtrio did its job, which is to 1v1 a threat, and then it got up rocks as well, which is pretty much more than I could have asked for. Here I go into my Excadrill, as it is my Togekiss counter, and I just go for the Iron Head safe play, as he goes into Keldeo and reveals the leftovers, so that's pretty nice. It means he's not Specs, which means Azumarill switches in with complete ease. He goes for the Toxic, which is pretty nice tech, but I am packing the tech of my own in the Refresh, so that's going to just heal off the Toxic right there. Now he goes into Cofagrigus. I can just go straight out into my Pidgeot. I am carrying the Roost, so there's nothing he can really do to me, and I definitely 2-hit KO with a Hurricane. I went for Hurricane because even though the Goodra switch was rather obvious, and I think he went over this in his video if you want to check that out, he thought I would go for U-turn predicting the Goodra because it was so obvious, so he just got up a T-Spike, but Whittling Goodra is really, really nice for my Chandelure and my Pidgeot, and Goodra can't one-shot me with my HP investment, so I thought getting the chip damage on Goodra was way more important, as I'm going to do in these next few turns. It does 24%, which is honestly a lot, considering this is a Goodra and it's AV. He goes for the Thunder, which is a nice bring on his part because it can't miss versus the Pidgeot due to no guard, but I'm going to U-turn out on there, and he reveals the Gooey, which is like, whatever. I go out into my Alomomola because it is completely expendable at this point. All I want is a free switch back out into my Pidgeot because now he is 100% in range of the Hurricane, and since he doesn't have a flying resist, I will get a kill at the cost of, you know, losing my Alomomola, which didn't do anything. But now he lost his Goodra, which means Scarf Chandelure is looking quite threatening in the back as he goes into his Togekiss. Now, if I'm able to confuse this, for example, and just take down this Togekiss, then Scarf Chandelure literally just wins. So I am just going to make that play and just spam Hurricane on this thing. As it does a lot of damage, he's kind of forced to recover every turn, as I do get the confusion, as you can see there. So this is really good for me, as it means I can potentially break this Togekiss, but he has Lumberry, so I'm going to have to do that again. But yeah, I'm going to go for the Hurricane here as well, just trying to chip this thing, as he switches into Cofagrigus. Now, I'm not going to lie, he almost got me with this play. I was going to U-turn out, just conceding the fact that I'm not going to break Togekiss on these turns, but he had Rocky Helmet on that, and that was something that I was considering, which is part of the reason why I didn't click U-turn. I was also thinking he might be Rocky Helmet on Togekiss until he revealed the Lumberry, so that's why I didn't U-turn out earlier, but Hurricane spamming was my best play as it kept the Togekiss low, which means he had to switch out versus Excadrill, and he comes in on rocks and he's 2-hit KO'd by Scarf Chandelure, so he can't switch in, so I guess basically get a kill with that every time it comes in that scenario. But yeah, Hurricane was definitely my best play overall, as he does sack off the Cofag there. Now here he brings in Mew, and I can't let this thing set up potentially. If he's Stallbreaker Mew, he's going to eat this up, but I couldn't risk him setting up anything, as he does go for the Rock Polish, and Hurricane does a lot of damage. So that's pretty good for me. It's also quite scary. He is able to knock me out with the Psychic as he reveals the Life Orb, which is really good for me. That means my Azumarill can just revenge with the Aqua Jet. as since he took the 10%, he's 100% in range, even though I'm not max attack, and at this point it's looking quite good for me. Here he goes into his Togekiss. I don't really want to risk my Excadrill versus this thing, because if he bops me with a random Aura Sphere or Fire Blast and I lose my Excadrill, the Togekiss does wall both my Chandelure and my Azumarill, which is very bad. So I'm just going to go into my Chandelure, and he goes for the Air Slash, and it does 44%, which is a lot. I'm just going to go for the Shadow Balls, seeing the damage and seeing it spread, as it does nothing. So I'm like, oh man, I'm going to switch out into my Excadrill because there's no way he's going for an Aura Sphere there, even if he had it. And I'm just going to go for the Iron Head. I could have predicted the Keldeo with the Earthquake, but I can't really afford to make that play, because if he stays in and Fire Blasts me on my Earthquake and I lose my Excadrill, I lose the game. So it's really not something that I can predict around with. And I'm just going to preserve my Excadrill, obviously, going into my Azumarill. He could have doubled into Togekiss there, and that would have been a great play, but he does just click Scald, I guess banking on the choke of me leaving in Excadrill. But like, now that Azumarill's in, I get a kill with Play Rough, and I am able to KO the Togekiss with Play Rough plus Aqua Jet, and now I kind of did some weird things here. I went for Waterfall on the Keldeo, spoiler alert. Basically, I was just completely paranoid of Play Rough miss into Calm Mind, and then my Chandelure can't kill with Energy Ball, even though it can still kill at +1 or whatever. But I was just really paranoid, and I just wanted damage to guarantee my win, as differential doesn't matter since it is the playoffs, and I'm just going to Waterfall into Aqua Jet, putting him out of range of a potential substitute, even though my Chandelure is Infiltrator. I just was like super safe here, and just went into my Chandelure, and I was able to knock him out with the Energy Ball. And that is going to be the semifinals match. And I will be moving on to the finals, and I'm actually going to be playing Kyle in that KMoody617. He has a YouTube channel as well, and uploads lots of good content there. But that's going to be my opponent for the finals. And fun fact, he was the Season 1 champion, and I was the Season 2 champion. So we have champion versus champion. Who's going to be the champion of the champions? And it's going to be the championship champion. So yeah, overall, me versus Dougie. This game was honestly the best game of the entire season. I don't think either of us misplayed at all. There were definitely some predictions that I got right when he got wrong, but they weren't misplays, for example, or per se. He was just he just got the prediction wrong. It was a perfectly fair play. It's kind of a 50-50, and I was fortunate enough to get those right. So really close game, a lot closer than it may have seemed. Well, I mean, it didn't seem very it didn't seem like a blowout at all. It was definitely a close game, but yeah, I was just able to trap the weavile turn 1, and then I could just make safe plays with my Excadrill, and I was just able to wear down his team super fast, and I was able to clinch the game. So that was really nice, and I'll see you guys in the finals versus Kyle.